Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. MC-Mura here, and today we're gonna be talking about how you can fight against Luke in Street Fighter V. Luke is the latest and the last DLC character to be released for this game. He's a very strong character, he's a very easy character to play. Obviously it does have some difficulties with the execution in the combos, but the game plan is very easy and very effective. Right, so he's really played by so many players these days, even pro players. Everyone have a Pocket Luke, right? And because of this, a lot of people are struggling against him. The main issue against Luke when you're fighting against him is the fireball, right? Luke have a very fast fireball. His travel speed is really fast, and because of this, and because it's unreactable, what you're doing most of the time is that you're just walking and blocking in fear, because you kinda can't react to the animation. And obviously, I mean, we all know how CFN is, it makes it 10 times worse. And if I'm being completely honest, the EX Fireball is total bullshit, especially in V-Trigger, right? This is insane in my opinion, unhumanly reactable, and you eat like 250 damage, that's like 25% on most characters. Kinda extreme, but it is what it is. But we are here because there are some things that you can exploit against him. The character is very well rounded in my opinion. He doesn't really have any major flaws, but there's a couple of things that we can do to combat him. The first thing is knowing how to deal with his fireballs, because this is pretty much the most important aspect of the character and what makes him the most difficult. His fireballs have 3 different versions: light, medium and heavy. This is the light. And notice this, he's saying blast, right? And the thing about blast is that it is really unsafe on block. If you happen to block it from its effective range, notice here Ryu is +9, +10. This means that you actually get a punish, right? Obviously how strong you get to punish this will depend a lot on your character, but you can punish blast. If he does blast, and typically they do like crouching medium kick into fireball, this is a good punish. Blast is punishable. The other version is gonna be the medium version, and the medium version is eat this, right? So eat this is interesting. From most ranges, if you happen to block it from like its effective range, this is gonna be plus, you're gonna be -5, -4. It's not really punishable, right? But notice something interesting here. Ryu is plus on block, right? Ryu is +4, +5. Now this is very different, because if Luke is the one who's blocking and he blocks a Hadouken, Ryu is +14. But Luke is negative on his own fireball. So this means that you get to act first. And this have really strong implications if you're a fireball character or if you are a character who have to get in, right? So let's say for example we're talking about a fireball character like Ryu. We happen to block the medium bunch fireball. Now I pretty much get to throw on my own, and he kinda have to respect it, right? If he ever blocks one, or if we trade, or if I get to block one of his fireballs, now I set the pace. Now he have to deal with my zoning, right? So a lot of the fireball characters can outzone him, and if you're a character who don't really have a fireball, this means that you can use one of your tackle attacks. If you're a character like Balrog, Bison, etc., you get to use your tackle attacks because you are plus, right? This is very important to understand. The second or the third fireball is gonna be the heavy fireball, right? Sand Blaster, and this is kind of the same deal, right? He's gonna be -2, gonna be -1, so this is more of a neutral thing, but this actually does have a sizable startup. If I do believe that you can actually jump it on reaction, right? If you really focus on it, it is jumpable on reaction. This is 18 frame startup. 18 frames is a lot for a fireball, by the way, right? So you can actually jump this one on reaction if you're waiting for it. It doesn't reach full screen, so if you are full screen, you can kinda start zoning him, and now he will have to deal with him. And obviously, if you're a character who have like a power up V skill, you can power up full screen, and you will kinda have to force Luke to approach you. The final one is gonna be the EX Fireball, and the EX Fireball, I don't think there's an answer to it. There is an answer to blocking the EX Fireball in V-Trigger though. This is one of the things that Luke players love doing. They love activating V-Trigger, throwing this one, It's very rewarding on hit, and if you happen to land it on block, it still does a lot of chip damage. This is sizable, but you can still punish this. What you wanna do here is you wanna hear the audio cue. Once it starts with a bang, this is when you wanna V reversal. Right, I did it too early this time. If you happen to V reversal here, you get a full combo punish on him, and because I did damage to him, his V trigger is almost done. Let's try it one more time. Bim 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 bim. Right, and because this is a very dominant strategy with Luke, most Luke players will try to cheese you with his EX Fireball and V trigger. My recommendation against Luke is to use your V gauge. Keep it. Don't activate V trigger against Luke. In my opinion, V shift, and we will get into that later, and V reversals are very effective against this character. So let's now talk about Luke's other special move, and that is the Flash Knuckle. These are the charged punch specials. Luke players will use them all the time in combos and when they are trying to hit confirm. One of the most used ones is the light one because it easily combos from his crouching medium kick and his jabs. The light Flash Knuckle is minus 11 on block. So Luke's trying to fish for it with a crouching medium kick like that. This is common, right? What you want to do is, if you happen to block, it is minus 11, so try to go for a heavy punish, right? With a character like Cammy, standing medium punch, standing heavy punch into TP, that is pretty nice. Now, one thing that might happen is, a Luke player will try to go for a crouching medium kick and he will cancel into the light Flash Knuckle, but he will hold it. The idea is he kinda failed to hit confirm, so he is holding it to make it less negative, or maybe he will try to interrupt so he can get a hit in. But the charged light version is still minus 8 on block, right? This means that you still can kinda heavily punish this with no issues. Remember earlier when I said that V reversals and V shift are very important against this guy? This is minus 8 on block, right? But if you happen to V shift it, you can be as far as plus 18 and you will get a lot bigger of a punish. And the same rules kinda apply to the medium version as well. A lot of Luke players will do the crouching medium kick into the medium Flash Knuckle, and typically this is minus 5, right? Minus 5 means that you can reliably get a jab punish, right? Some characters will get a medium, like Cammy will get a crouching medium punch. Do it again. Right? Cammy can get this, but not everyone can. But at the very least, you are getting a jab punish. He moves closer to you, so make sure that you are punishing the medium version. Now, if you happen to charge the medium version, this becomes minus 2 on block, right? So this is completely safe. You can't really punish Luke in this instant. Now, you can interrupt him, and you can kind of get some really good counter hit confirms here, but I don't like this. What I like to do more is again V-shift it, and if you happen to V-shift it, you will be at a lot of plus frames, and now you get really big punishes. So either go for DPs, and DPs here are actually really good as well. Like if he's doing the crouching medium kick into the charge, you can almost kinda always DP here, and that is pretty reliable. Obviously parries and moves of the sort work as well, but I do like the V-shift option. And that's why I was saying the most important strategy against Luke is gonna be choosing to keep your V gauge and using it for V reversals and V shift. I think they are very important against this character because they deny him a lot of his options. Now obviously he can also fish with the EX version, and the EX version is almost always unsafe. This is minus 8 on block. The block stun is a little bit weird, so it will take you some time to get used to punishing this, but this is always unsafe on block. So let's now talk about the heavy Flash Knuckle, because the heavy Flash Knuckle is a whole different beast. It's -2 on block, it's completely safe, covers a lot of ranges, leads to a really good knockdown. So let's check out the scenarios at which the Luke might actually use this move. The first one, and that is pretty common, is Luke doing standing heavy punch and then buffering it into Flash Knuckle, right? This is really good because his standing heavy punch have a lot of range. This string is -2 on block. If you try to mash his reframe here, you get hit. So it's actually really solid. But there are a couple of things that you can do. First of all, the standing heavy punch have a lot of recovery on whiff. So if he happened to whiff it, make sure to practice with punishing this, because you honestly can get a lot of damage here. So this is one of the aspects. This string, right, it does have a gap in it. You can't mash to a normal, but you can mash an EX invincible move. So if you're using a character like Lucia, the EX upper is actually really good at this spot, because it will interrupt this gap. And obviously if you have like a super, you can use that as well. That is a good answer. Now you can also V-shift, right? And this will give you a decent punish. You are +9 on this V-shift, so you don't get everything, and this is kind of like a heavy read V-shift. I don't recommend this option that much. What I would recommend more is actually going for the EX reversals, because his heavy punch is unsafe on block anyways, and if he cancels into a fireball, it's a block string. So this is a really solid option. Now let's talk about some of the other scenarios. Maybe he will charge his heavy punch Flash Knuckle, right? If he's doing it up close, you can't really walk back, so you kinda have to deal with this. What you wanna do here is V-shift at the last possible moment. Keep holding back. Notice I'm holding back, but Lucia is not walking backwards. So what you do is you keep holding back, and if he goes for the full release, you just release it and let go of the V-shift, right? That's why I was saying V-shift is extremely important versus Luke. You don't want to V-shift early, because you will get hit. What you want to do is keep holding back, and if you're stuck in block animation, V-shift at the last possible moment, right? This is the strategy. Now, one of the really cool things here is that his heavy punch Flash Knuckle doesn't have a lot of proximity block range. So notice if I am not very close to him, I can walk back out of it. This means that I can actually punish it on whiff, right? I can force it to whiff and get a really big whiff punish. Maybe here even like I can like walk back as a neutral jump and get a full jumping combo on him because he decided to charge it. The key is don't preemptively V-shift. Only V-shift the fully charged version. That is the safest strategy against that one. Now obviously the other use of this is for him to just throw it in the neutral to kinda catch you off guard. This is really good obviously because it does have really good range, can be spaced to be relatively like almost unsafe or almost like completely unpunishable or set up spacing traps, but it is important to learn how to whiff punish this, right? The hurt box extend quite a bit, as you can see, like even from like half screen away, you still can't sweep him. So if you happen to whiff this, regardless of the range, make sure that you're going for a whiff punish. This is important to learn. Now, one of the other things, and I think this is like the major flaw with Luke, is that his punishment of -4 is really weak. What is -4 moves? Well, it is crush counter attacks like Lucia's standing heavy kick. Luke will struggle against this because his standing light kick is 5 frames, his standing jab is 5 frames, and his crouching light punch is a 3 frame, so it can punish, but it will not punish a decently or even like not that decently spaced standing heavy kick. So if we take a look at Luke trying to punish with a standing light punch, right, this is his crouching jab. Notice it's -4, so it's punishing, right? But the range on it is very short, right? This means that you can kinda abuse your standing heavy kicks against him. Obviously you have to be careful not to whiff because his whiff punishment is really good, but on block this is actually really effective against Luke. As you're seeing, this is pretty great. It's really spammable against him, right? And obviously, like I said previously, his own standing light punch is 5 frames, so he will not really be able to punish you on block with this. he kinda have to use his crouching light punch. Now one thing you have to be aware of is that his EXDB is 4 frames and it does have more range than his jab. So if you're a little bit closer like that, you can get punished by the rising upper, but it still need to be relatively close. It's still shorter than most of the 4 frame standing light kicks, and obviously this is a really big risk. If you space it well, right, bye bye Mr. Luke, he eats a ton of damage forces. So the keys against Luke is gonna be using your V reversal, keeping it especially for his V trigger, using your V shift for his heavy flash knuckles, abusing the 4 frame or his lack of 4 frame punishment. These are the general strategies that you wanna use against this guy. So let's now talk about Luke's throw game, because there are a couple of details that are important to know. The first one is that after a forward throw, Luke can dash and he will be -2. So this means that you can jab and interrupt his next follow-up, but obviously he does have a lot of forward moving attacks. He can dash and he will be -2, so completely safe. He can go for a dick move and dash and then EX upper, but try to react to the dash and 3 frame him on wake up if possible. One of the other really important situations that I've kind of been seeing a lot lately is Luke players throwing you in the corner and then going for standing heavy kick. Notice here Luke was +1 on block, so he gets to continue on with his turn. He does have a 3 frame obviously, and if you happen to try to wake up with a normal, you get counter hit, so it's really good for him. What you can do here is you can V shift, you're gonna be +6 to +8. That's not bad, means that you can get a combo punish on him, and you know, depending on your characters, this can be really good. For someone like Judy, you can go for a V skill side switch combo and now he's in the corner, so this is actually pretty cool. And this also can be done on his back throw, but you can't V shift and punish him. On a back throw, Luke will go for his heavy kick as well. Happen to block, he's gonna be +1. Here, if you try to use the V shift method, you're only gonna be +2, so you don't get a big punish. But what you can do here is crouch block, so that the heavy kick is not plus. If you stand block, he's gonna be +1, but if you crouch block, he's gonna be neutral. So this means that you can immediately start checking with your 3 frame. I think that's a really good strategy. Obviously here you can go for a trade, so important details. And you can also do this versus the corner standing heavy kick, but obviously because you're crouching, you're gonna be easier to throw. So keep all of that in mind. Overall, Luke is very powerful. I don't think there is any sugarcoating it. He's a very powerful character. He kind of forces you to take some risks when you fight against him, but he's not invincible. He does have an issue, especially with the -4 thing that you can play around. If you have a fireball, you can certainly outzone him. I hope that this video have given you some ideas on how you can fight against Luke. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like or a comment, it helps the channel so much. I will be leaving a link to the Patreon page, the Discord page. There is also a Twitter and a Twitch page down in the description below. Thank you very much for watching and stay safe.